Hey, Lee here with the pull list for January 8th, 2014, presented by longboxradio.com. I'm not used to being this close to the camera. It's kind of freaking me out a little bit. This week from DC Comics, we have a huge issue of Detective Comics, a book I don't read on any regular basis or anything like that. That's the great Capullo cover there. You can tell because of the little Capullo right there. There's a bunch of variants. Apparently Frank Miller's got one that's actually apparently arriving late. It's going to be in the next couple days. But lots of Batman alumni making covers for this thing. And basically it's just a huge, I think, 100-page issue of Detective Comics celebrating the 75th anniversary of Batman, the character. Detective Comics, what's relevant, as Mike Haynes pointed out to me on the most recent podcast, what's relevant about 27 is that is actually the original Detective Comics issue that Batman appeared in. So, for those who are kind of still hemming and hawing about the New 52 and how they don't like it got renumbered, I still feel that Detective in Action should have been left in the old numbering, as did apparently Dan DiDio. I've heard him talk on podcasts, but that's kind of neat that that this one ended up being the one. 27 is the 75th anniversary of Batman. I mean, I guess we celebrate every 5 years after a certain point. After 50, it's like every 5 years is a something. It's an anniversary. But you have a bunch of stories in here, including something by Brad Meltzer where he retells the original first story of Batman, which I believe I just found just now. So cool stuff. The book itself is plastic, kind of like a mini trade, kind of like the Elsewhere Batman books that Rob got me recently. But that's kind of neat. That's $7.99. I haven't read it yet, so I don't know if it's worth it, if there's some really neat stories in it, but I guess we'll see. All my books are in the wrong order, or whatever. First, from Vertigo, or DC, whatever you want to call them. That's number 22. Right there, you got a bunch of mice climbing on a gun. I don't remember if we're in the middle of a story arc in this, or what. I feel like I'm behind on this book, even though I'm definitely caught up, so I don't have much more to say on Ferris, I'm sorry. But the covers are still gorgeous as ever, and the stories have been really cool, a good counterpart to Fables, of course. Bill Williams' Fables. Swamp Thing, number 27. Lots of problems for the old Swamp Thing. Got, kind of put in his place by Cedar, who's now taken up Mantle as the Avatar of the Green, so we're going to see what happens all the same there. So, cool cover all the same. You got a bunch of different Swamp Things on there, so that's kind of neat. Moving on, we have Walking Dead number 119 coming to us from Image Comics. All Out War Continues. This is chapter 5 of 12. Very hard to see in the purple writing at the bottom there, if you can even see it. Of course, coming to us from Robert Kirkman. I've been liking this. I do like the character of Negan. I find him interesting, so it's carrying me through. Yeah, as we talked about that quite a bit, actually, on the most recent podcast. You can hear it there. Moving on, we have Avengers World from Jonathan Hickman, Nick Spencer, Stefano Caselli on the art, I guess. Free digital code there you'll find after the episode. This is a counterpart to Jonathan Hickman's regular Avengers book. They had 24 point now. I haven't read it yet. So I can't tell you what the difference between the plot in there and the plot in this is. Based on the team here, we have kind of more of a cut and dry, I guess, kind of more recognizable. No, they got Captain Universe in the back there. So, as far as I know, it's a companion piece to the already running Avengers book, from what I could read from the preview and stuff. So, there you go. Whatever. There was no Avengers book this week, so I decided I'd fill it up with Avengers World. Why not? We'll see what that one's about. Might be one I potentially drop and just keep reading new Avengers, regular Avengers, and then there's the Undercover Avengers or Secret Avengers or something, which is Dennis Hopeless's new. It's the new book after Avengers Arena. It's where those characters are headed, and I enjoy following those characters for whatever reason. That's my thing I do. In Cataclysm Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, I read the first issue, behind on the second. Didn't read this one yet, of course. And there's no indication of what the plot is of this particular event on the cover, because it's all usually just the heroes, or in this case, the hero, in front of Galactus, and Galactus is just grimacing. So that's what you have. Or he's kind of frowny in this one, actually, more than anything. That is the pull list for this week. Please, by all means, tweet Excelsior at either Twitter address provided, either _Hope for Heroes or Longbox Radio, of course. That enters you for a draw for some of Rob's free comics at the end of the month. So please do so. And also like Hope for Heroes and check out the website and stuff like that. Because it's a charity. It's all nonprofit. So check that out. Our most recent podcast, number 56, is up. Mike is guest hosting on it. We talk about all kinds of things, more or less rambling, as there's very little news around this time of year. What there is in the news, though, is something called Original Sin, which is Jason Aaron's. I think Mike Diodato is doing the art on that, but that's going to be the new Marvel event. And it was teased all the way back in a Point Now Marvel issue back in 2011, which they've been doing those since then. And it's about Uatu. He is murdered. And presumably someone maybe has his secrets or had to kill him because he saw something. Who knows? All I know is that when there's a supernatural murder, Jason Aaron writes a really good book around it. Thor, God of Thunder, the most recent one, the Marvel Now one, is a good example. I could care less for Thor, but reading that book, I was it made him really cool. It had the end of the world Thor is a super badass. It had the happy-go-lucky, just dumb early Thor, that had the middle Thor that we're all familiar with, and it's overarching story. So if this original sin brings something to the table like that, the team that's apparently involved in the book, the actual superhero team in the book, seems really, really neat. I'm looking forward to that. I do like Jason Aaron. Mike Diodato is fantastic on art, so that is an event I'm really looking forward to. I haven't really enjoyed the last few arcs. Infinity was fine, but it was more or less an extension of what was going on in Hickman's actual Avengers books anyway, so I don't feel like it was an event. I feel like we've had a drought kind of since Avengers vs. X-Men, which I did not care for. And I'm not reading the DC event right now. I'm just picking up the Justice League parts of it and asking what the hell's going on. So eventually I will read Forever Evil and let you know on that. But that is it. Those two digital codes, look from the end of the thing, of course. Tweet Excelsior at those two Twitter addresses I provided. Listen to the new podcast. That's it. As always, thank you for listening. We'll see you again next week.